Now the next one is segmented control. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 examples of different segment controls. First one has a checkbox pictures. It's bordered, bar tinted, and bar image. In order to simulate the same look and feel in example, first of all I created a segmented view control that inherits from UI table view controller. Then of course in the master view controller I import it, prop it, and copy and paste the if statement. Segment view controller, push an instance of segment view controller. Then I come to the storyboard and I drag a table view controller. In the table view controller, I set the class to segment view controller. Storyboard ID is the same, and then I focus my attention to table view. In the table view I say static cells, number of sections are going to be 1. Then I select the first section and I said there are going to be 10 rows, one for label, one for a segmented control. That will they'll line up neatly. And there are search, check, search, tools, 3 segments. So I select the segment control. There's a label and there's a segment. And in the segment control I can say that it's going to be plain type and its title is check. I basically double clicked it and typed check, double click it. No, first of all I gotta go to segment control and tell it that there are going to be 3 segments in it. That's one property. And then double click and make it search, check, search, and tools. Then I clicked on this each row and dragged it up, made it less tall. This one with the segmented control a little bit taller. Label is smaller, so they'll fit nicely. Then I option click and drag the label down and made copies of it. At this point I'm ready to come into this segment control 0 and I can change the image. So that was segment check PNG. So I'll put a picture of that. Segment 1. Segment search.png. There's a picture in the images folder. Section 2. Tools.png. So that's how we can get in images. One example was UI segment control. I just put in some right labels there, so it's going to have UI segmented control with pictures. It's going to be bordered, it's going to be bar style, and this is going to be a tinted style. So basically right here I can say style bordered. This one I can go in there and say style bar. This one I can go in there and say style bar, and this is also going to be a bar style, and it's going to be have a picture in the back. Now that's going to be a little difficult. There are two options to do that in that case. Either by subclassing the segment control and using that, or creating an outlet for it in the file owner and setting some properties in the viewDidLoad. Tint, basically right here, there's a property here to set a any kind of tint. I can pick another tint, and I'm gonna go with the other option. Let me make sure I have the you see, I need the segmented control. I hope this will take this time. It reverts back to UI table view controller. So I have the segment view controller. At this point I can control click and create an outlet for it. SegCon outlet. I can skip over to implementation and synth it. SegCon controller. Now over here I can set a couple of properties to set the image. Segment view controller. I need to get rid of these functions since I'm using static cells, the number of sections and all that stuff. Now I can run this example and you see that there's a picture, and the way I did that was segment view controller .m file. I was right here, so I had synthesized it. So in the viewDidLoad I'm going to set some properties on SegCon outlet, set background image to this image, and also the set divider image to divider image, and then these properties are just standard, and that'll make a standardized image to show up, a divider image and an image in the background. So here we have three different 1 2 3 4 5 different kinds of segment controls and different properties to set on it and how they look. Now the next option over there is the toolbar. We are going to discover the toolbar, uses of UI toolbar. Now toolbar is down here. Okay, it has a done button, it has another button on the left side and a picture button, and it's controlled by this segmented control. Default black, you see how its color changes, translucent. So this segmented control is changing that. Then there is a switch control, image off, on. So tinted, you see how a tint is on, this is no longer available. So that's a practice in actually use of segmented controls, switch control, another segmented control, a picker, but the main star of this tutorial is this toolbar. So it's almost like a tutorial into how to use these and enable, disable depending on different actions. And also, but the main thing is the toolbar here. Tinted on, you see now it becomes tinted. As soon as I move this switch, the value change event of this switch control changes the properties on this one. Then I have the UR button item style, plain, bordered, done. Plain, bordered, and done. So now this picker control, on the other hand, as I click cancel, you see the button changes, edit, save, add, flexible. The different kind of buttons you can have on this side. So that picker control is that, so you can try So we can try. So this is the thing I'm gonna do in storyboarding next, using the storyboard program. All of this. There's going to be a toolbar view controller, a scene, and then in the scene I'm gonna set these and program them, and a toolbar. So before I go into the storyboard, I need a class. After I have this class, I'm going to go to the main view controller, import it, then I take the if statement, copy and paste, modify it. So at this point I'm going to go into the storyboard, get view controller here, and drag a label and a segmented control, a label and a segmented control, a switch and a label. Another segmented control and a label, picker view, a toolbar, and try to see if it'll just come up right. So I drag a label, segmented control, and turn its style to bar type, so it's a little bit short, so things can fit in there. A label and a switch box. Status is going to be initially off. I want that to be off, so that's where I can set that property right there. This had 3 segments, so I'm going to say 3 segments and set them to what they were on the other one. So I clicked here, 3 segments, dragged it a little bit wider and typed in, double click and change the labels to default, black, translucent. Here again three segments, drag, make it wider, double click, plain, bordered, and done. We need a little bit of space over here because as it runs, the top bar is going to need some space and squish it. So at this point I can run the application, click on toolbars, at least I can see it. Nothing happened so far, nothing has been wired up yet. Items are entered here and next step is to set that up. So next what I want to do is create IB outlets and IB actions for these controls. So the first one, I'm just going to call it segcon top and create an IB action for it right here. Segcon type on click. Okay, so next one. Switch left outlet. I'm control click dragging action. Switch left action, I'll call it. So here we got a problem right there. You see I misspelled it. So let's see how to fix it. I'm going to control click it, referencing outlet. I'm going to delete it right there. Then I'm going to go back in there and delete this one. Now I'm going to go back in there, control. The second way is I control click it, then drag this from here, referencing outlet. SWITCH left outlet. Switch right outlet. Switch right action. Seg control bottom outlet. And now the picker outlet. Picker action. So we have outlets and pick. Now this one too I need for the toolbar. Create an outlet for the toolbar. So now what I should be able to do is switch over to .m and I want to synthesize all of them. Synthesize seg control top outlet. I'm just going to do them all on the same line. Seg control bottom outlet, comma, I have a switch left outlet, switch right outlet. Then I have seg hey, what happened? What happened to my seg control bottom outlet? Then I have picker outlet. And now we have segcon outlet, seg control top, seg control. Okay, you see I abbreviated. I should have been consistent. Switch left outlet, switch right outlet, seg control bottom outlet. I think I've double done it. And picker outlet. So I have 5 outlets now. Cool. One more. Who got the egg? No, I do have the picker outlet as well. Yeah, that's complete. For the picker view, I'm going to do 2 more things. Control click it. I need the data source and delegate. So I'm just going to drag it onto this icon right there, telling it, the data source and delegate are going to be in the file owner, and the file owner here is the custom class we already know is toolbar controller. Now I need to go into view did load and set up an array actually and initialize it. In the header, let me do that next step. So next is taking care of filling up the picker view. I'm going to declare an array, NSArray picker view array. Switch over to toolbar view controller.m file, and I'm going to synthesize it, synth it, picker view array. Initialize the picker view array with these items as an NSArray array with object, blah blah blah. Then declare picker view delegate the did select row method, the standard signature. I'm going to comment out all the code for right now. Picker view data source methods, title for row, width for component, height for component, number of rows in component. Picker view the standard way, 1, picker view count 240 40. This hard coded. Title for row is going to picker view object at index 0, and when I run this example at this point, I should have, when I click on toolbar, the picker view is populated. It doesn't do anything yet, but it's there now. Now when I want to change these labels to what they were in the old example, when I click on it, I want to handle the action default. Actually, there were some buttons right there. I want to fix that first, and then the clicking on them. When I change the values, I want to change the labels on and all that stuff. So labels, more buttons here, fix, handle the code for the events. Now what we need is 4 buttons down there. So you will see that as soon as I put a bar button item here, it goes all the way, automatically aligns to the left. Here's another one, I put it here, jumps back to the right. So they were in the original example, there were 2 buttons on this corner. So how do I handle it? I'm going to add another button, and I'm going to change this to flex item. I'm going to select yeah, that item, flexible space. Yeah, you see, that's what I want. So what that'll do is it'll push them all to the right side. Okay, you see here there are flexible space, an item type, and this one type. The item type button is using an image. So UI bar button item, and it's using an image called segment tools. So I'm just grab it from the original example, go back to my example, and at the same time I'm going to look at the custom item. It has a title and it has a certain style. UI bar button style item done. So let's see if I can do this. Image. Segment tools.png. Okay, good, that's right. And this one was what? Buttons, I am going to set some additional properties. I'm going to call it style is plain. Identifier is custom. Title is item. On the next one, I'm going to call it style. No, style is plain. Identifier custom, and it's using an image. Style is plain. Identifier custom. So now when I run this example, I want to see this. When I click on, yeah, you see that's exactly what the original example did. It glows when I click on it, and there's flexible space in the middle. So now I can start working with these labels next and change them to what the original example said. So I changed the labels to UI bar style image tinted, UI bar button item style, UI bar button system item. And now it's time to wire up these events. Well, I click on default. It should change something here. Black, translucent. Okay, so the toolbar, default, black, translucent. Image, puts an image in the back, disables it. Tinted, changes the tinted property. So let's take care of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. Okay, so at this point, I have toolbars, and here it is. Black, translucent, image on, image off, tinted on, tint off, plain, bordered, done. I'm gonna black, default, plain, bordered, done. That's how things look like so far. And for that, I just put in the same code in the example app, just changing the names. I had different, but same logic. In switch right action, segmented control bottom action, same code from the old example. Switch left action, segment top click. So all the corresponding code into my actions, I just put that in there and it works simply. So next is to put in program this did select row method and put that code in there. I think we need a property called current system item. We need to create an outlet for this button. I have an outlet for the whole toolbar. I need an outlet for this particular button. And now current system item. Go to the .m file, synthesize it, and then right here I have a picker outlet. I'm gonna give it a try, see if it works. No.